Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the upcoming Marvel Legends Captain America Whirlwind figure from Hasbro. Now this 6-inch figure comes packaged in the same style packaging we've been seeing with all the Marvel Legends for 2016. You've got the Build-A-Figure logo up at the top, you've got the Legends series logo, and then the figure clearly displayed in the window box packaging, and then down below you have that Captain America logo. Now this figure is listed as Forces of Evil. It shares the same packaging as with the Cottonmouth, which we looked at last week. So on one side you have artwork for Cottonmouth, on the other side you have artwork for Whirlwind, and then on the back of the packaging you have a look at both figures, a brief bio, and then down below we have a look at all the figures in the wave that make up all the parts you need to complete the Red Skull / Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. Now the figure comes with the left arm for the Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure piece, and we'll be taking a look at the Onslaught figure in its own review after we finish up this wave, and this is the final figure in the wave, so look for the Onslaught review probably tomorrow, so be sure to check back for that. Now besides that, the figure also comes with his little blades that he wears on his wrist, and these are actually attached to the figure when you take it out of the packaging, but they are removable, and they're just done with that kind of gray plastic. You do have some of that marbleization effect going on with them. You've got the little saw blades on the edges, so it looks pretty good for the most part, and I like that they are removable. So they do actually, you can turn them on his wrist and such. But that's it as far as accessories go for this figure. So for the figure itself, so this figure seems to incorporate the same arms and legs as the Grim Reaper figure mold, which we also saw on the classic Cap. It also has the same boots as classic Cap, but the torso section here and the head obviously appear to be new. I haven't been able to match up this torso with any other figure, so I believe that is a new torso. And applications are okay on the figure. You've got a dark, almost kind of metallic gray used for most of the outfit. Now you do have some of that marbleization effect going on with the legs, which looks a little off to me on this one. Sometimes the marbleization doesn't bother me, but on this one I think it looks a little bit off here on his legs. Otherwise, though, pretty solid paint applications. You got a little bit of green spilling over on my figure on the back here onto the silver or the gray, but otherwise, you know, it's not too major, and otherwise it's a pretty fair paint applications on the figure. I like the head sculpt. It's, you know, the classic Whirlwind head sculpt, and I like how you can see the eyes and mouth underneath the helmet. The helmet's not removable or anything, but I do like how they've made it so you can actually see his eyes and his mouth under the helmet like you do in the comics. And you got the little ears that stick out, so nice sculpting on the helmet, and again the overall figure I think looks pretty good. Okay, so this figure stands about 6 3/4 inches, just a little bit under 7 inches tall, so he's a bit on the tall side. Here he is next to that Grim Reaper figure, and they're pretty close to the same height. Whirlwind maybe is a little bit taller, but they're pretty close in height. Here he is next to the classic Cap that's in this wave, and Whirlwind is a bit taller than Cap. And then just for one more comparison, here he is next to Batroc the Leaper, and he's definitely taller than Batroc. Articulation on this figure is not too bad. Head is on a ball hinge joint, so he can look left and he can look right. And he's got some down movement with the head. He can't really look back because of the helmet, but he can look straight ahead. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he can get his arm out pretty good. And he's got good rotation there at the arm. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double jointed elbow, so he's got good bending at the elbow, and then he's got swivels at the wrists, and he has hinges on the hands, so he has some up and down movement. Now with the blades on his wrist, it limits some of the up and down movement with the wrist, but you can always remove it, and even with the blade he's still got some up movement there. He's got an ab crunch joint, so he can crunch down pretty good, and you get that kind of clicky noise with the ab crunch, and he can look back. He's got a waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints, so he can only do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward pretty good and up high, and he can't really do his leg back at all because of the butt. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a double hinged knee, so good bending at the knee. He's got a boot cuff swivel. He's got the hinges on the feet, so he's got good down movement, and okay up movement, and then he does have ankle pivot, and then 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So that's my review. Overall, I like the figure. My only real complaint with it is the paint applications are so-so. They're not horrible, but they're not fantastic either. Mainly because I don't like the marbleization on the legs. And that might just be with my figure, I don't know. But that would be my only real complaint with it. Now, I guess one other minor complaint I would have is it would have been cool if they had included some type of wind power accessory. Either something where he could, like, you could set the figure in so it looks like he's floating around on a tornado like you see in the comics, or something that he could shoot from his hands, a whirlwind effect you could attach to his hands so it looks like he's shooting out a tornado, you know, to mimic his powers. Otherwise, you know, without that, it makes the figure kind of boring. So it would have been cool if they'd included something like that. But otherwise, I think it's a decent figure. If you're a fan of this character and the classic design of the character, I think you'll definitely want to add this one to your collection. So I don't have a release date on this wave. As I've said before with the other figures in the wave, I'm thinking the end of this month or maybe next month. I'm thinking more now probably next month than the end of this month, since we haven't heard any kind of pre-orders or anything. But again, that's purely guessing on my part. They may just start showing up at retail at any day for all I know. I picked these up from an overseas seller so I could review them early for you. So again, I don't have a release date, but when I know something more, I'll be sure to let you guys know. So we'll be doing the Onslaught review probably tomorrow, so be sure to check back for that. I know many of you have been waiting for that, including myself. That's probably the figure I've been looking forward to the most in this wave, is the Onslaught Build-A-Figure. So be sure to check back for that. And as always, we have a gallery of images of the figure up at Marvelous News. Leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.